Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sharon Gao Show. The Sharon Gao Show is a space where I have conversations with brilliant minds passionate about nutrition, well-being, and healthy living. Transform your health, you can transform your life. Today, our guest is beautiful Dima Sawaf. Dima is the founder of 180 Degrees Within and co-author of the book When the World Paused. This book is going to be launched on July 15th of this year. She is a certified business and leadership values coach, as well as Jack Canfield trainer expert. She has been working with women and men, helping them overcoming their limiting beliefs and decisions, finding inner peace and transition toward an empowered existence. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Sharon. I'm really, grateful to be one of your guests. And thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and checking this show. And I hope we will give you some great insights.
Yeah, me too. It's actually a very sad topic, So we are going to talk about how to overcome childhood bullying trauma. Dima, you are a mother and you love your kids, and you said your children are your inspiration. And I'm a mom myself. My son is everything to me. But sadly, you like experienced that your son has been bullied in school, and like with physical and mental abuse. And you told me that at some point he even expressed to you that he did not want to continue to live. Is it like heartbreaking to hear your kids saying that?
It is absolutely. It's been a tough road, honestly. It's been a long journey. It's not done yet, but it has going to a better place. And I have to say, Sharon, I have to be really grateful of his experience. And so amazingly, a lot of people, came up from painful experiences and they turn up to shine later on. And I am in this field actually thanks to my son, because indeed he's been bullied. He's been bullied astonishingly since he was only 2 years young. 2 years is really, it's really young. But at the time we wouldn't say bullying. It was, he was at the nursery, and there is always one child who always came and bites him, physically bites him completely, and not once, not twice, not 3 times. And we, of course, said there is something wrong. Why you guys are not doing anything about this? And we raised the concern, but nothing has been done. So we moved him from school when he's been 4 years young, and then again there he's been again a victim of physical abuse. We were very surprised, but this is what happened.
Well, he was only 4 years old.
He was only 4 years, and one of the things even happened in front of me. One child, I was waiting on him in the courtyard. He took a stone, the child, and threw the stone on my son, on his forehead.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And another one just slapped him. And that was 4 years. They're still young. They're not really much expressing. They know how to talk, but they're not experiencing. So that was the physical abuse. Then later on, when he grew up more, he had the verbal abuse. He says, you're worth nothing. And things, we didn't really know everything about it, because most of the time they spent time at school, right?
Mm-hmm.
But slowly, if you compare his pictures, he used to have a beautiful, amazing smile. And years after years, it's starting to fade away. Yeah. And he says, Mom, they took my lunchbox, they threw it away on the roof of the school, and some others in the bathrooms, in the toilets. It was really not great. And after maybe 4 years after the first event, then he didn't want to go to school anymore, because this is what happened. It's not a happy place, right? So I don't want to go to school. You have to go to school. I don't want to go to school. Well, you have those conversations. And then we didn't know so much how much he was abused. Even though we stepped in as a parent, we went, we talked, we have conversation. And unfortunately, we used to live, sorry, it's not unfortunately that we used to live, but we used to live in the UAE, in Dubai. This is what happened actually. And schools are, you know, very international, and you have a lot of people, and about 70% of the expats are from all over the countries. So basically the mentality is different. So some people will say it's not a big deal, but at the end of the day, it starts to be a big deal. So
it's a big deal when you started, especially your kid started feeling so sad and you know, like frightened and did not want to go to school. While you're talking about this, I just reminded me I really have something to share about my son as well while he was in kindergarten. So at the beginning, we put him in like this private kindergarten, and he, like, every day he did not want to go. Like it was just like such a drama, like such a difficult time for us to get him out of the house to go to the kindergarten. He just cried so bad. He just did not want to go. So we thought it was just the kid not wanting to go to school, just want to stay home, right? So we just really want to help him to get used to going to school, you know, all that. So we only thought that was the reason. So, but we had to battle with him, just trying to get him to school for a long time, like for maybe for a couple of months. And one day, you know what, I actually, there was a teacher, actually I met him in grocery store, and he told me, he said, Sharon, I think that you probably want to reconsider to transfer your kid to a different school because he really suffers being there. And I just see him every day, like sitting there being so sad, you know. And later on, what we found out is the teacher that in his class was very like verbally abusive. Like the way she was talking to kids, like very abusive. And my son never experienced anything, and he was too little to tell us what was really going on, but he was frightened to go. But we as a parent just was not very, you know, like mindful, like not we were not listening to him. We just thought that he was just going through this kid thing, like not wanting to go to school. So we were trying to help him to get used to that without really going further, like understanding what really happening in school. Like you said, the kids, they just stay in school, right? We don't really know what is happening in school every day with a daily basis. But, you know, there we figured out, oh, that was the reason. And we transferred him to a different school, and it totally changed. He never had that problems of going to school at all. Every day he just went to school in normal way. So it's really such experience, just it taught me such a lesson, like always be very mindful, like pay attention to your kids' reactions. And lots of times it's not because of them, it's because of the environment, especially when it's related to this bullying and abusing situations, either from, you know, teachers or from kids in that environment. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sharon, absolutely. We always have to listen to our kids. It's not like a drama queen or whatever, you know, I don't want to go because of something. There is something going on there. Why do you want to go? And sometimes they won't share because they might be afraid not of you, but afraid of what's going to happen at school. You know, if I say this to the teacher, they might give me bad grades, or they might be even more, you know, tough on me. And this is also something really, really concerning. So absolutely, you really have to listen to them. We listened to him, we noticed there is something wrong. And one day what I said was saying that it's really thanks to my son that was there, thanks in a way because he's been victimized. But I have to say that I met a lady, she was telling me how's at the schoolyard, she says, how's Jad is going? And I said, well, he's not that great. And says, yeah, you should come to me and I will talk to you. And I said, well, yeah. And I said, why not? And this is the first time actually I discovered coaching, because I didn't know what it means, coaching, because, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, what life coaching, what do you mean by life coaching? What do you mean by that? And sometimes it sounds so, you know, superficial. when you don't know what it means. It has so many tools, so many strategies, so many techniques. It's an amazing tool. And I am an NLP practitioner and coach as well, neuro-linguistic programming coach. And it's really thanks to what happened to my son. And when I met this lady, and she says, well, come to me and then we talk. So we had this talk, and this is the first time ever I understood how mind works. That actually 95% we are on an automatic pilot. We don't think of what we're doing, right? And our mind is like a computer completely. We download things. So whatever has been downloaded on my son, he started to believe it. He felt if he's not worth it, but it's painful. He doesn't want to hear that, but he's accepting it in a way. So this lady says, do you know anything called the sleeping therapy? I said, no, I never heard of the sleeping therapy. And she explained to me a process. It took over 1.5 years. So every single night while he was sleeping, I went to his bed and I had to say some definite words. Listen, whoever is viewing now, this is very, very critical. So please, by all means, you have to seek professional. It's not for everyone. You need to do this. We're working on the subconscious mind. So I worked on his subconscious mind. That's what I did. Yeah, and this is when I discovered how beautiful is that. We have this superpower here. Ladies, men, we have a superpower here.
Yeah.
And
so can you share with us like exactly how you did that? Like you went to your son's bedroom while he was in sleep, and what exactly you have done to help him to overcome that?
Yeah, so basically what I followed the instructions of this amazing coach, Coach Noha. She's really great. And she says, you have to insert within the first 20 minutes of his sleep a certain wordings. And it's all about love. At the end of the day, it's all, you know, when you listen to people, you, me, and everyone who is in the coaching industry, we're always talking about self-love and worthiness. And when people understand is really about how we love ourselves, that everything is beautiful, things will go much better in their lives. So basically, whatever was being downloaded on my son was so negative. So I had to shift for 1.5 years. After about 20 minutes, he goes to sleep. So actually, I used to caress him here, says, keep sleeping. And if he moves, it means it's the really right time to give him the instructions that I want to give him. He's at the level of sleep that is really perfect. If he doesn't move, he's too deep into his sleeping pattern. So basically, whatever I will say won't go inside. So there are five definite lines. But again, I'm not going to share you the lines because it's for my son. Again, anyway, by all means, reach me and I can share with you Noha, because she's the one doing the sleeping therapy. I'm not. But I did it on my son as a client. And it's all about love. Actually, we were saying, you know, something about your mom, whatever loves you, dad, whatever loves you. And we go on and every single night. And then things shifted, by the way. He used to say, I hate going to school. And at one stage I say, how's school? And he says, you know, it's okay. Today I had an incident. Someone was mean to me, but it's okay. This was already amazing because before I didn't want to go. So this has already shifted his mind of going to school. It doesn't mean it's okay, the whole process, because at one stage, you know, I had this really tough call from the director of the school saying, please, you need to come now. Your son is in really bad situation. And he was, you know, like bending and doing like this. I found him in school crying, and I have the teacher crying, and he says, I cannot take it anymore. I cannot take it anymore.
So was he having physical pain?
Excuse me, could you repeat?
Was he, you said that your son was doing something painful in school. Was he having physical pain?
He was
suffering.
Not only physical pain, it was mental pain.
mental pain.
Couldn't take it. He said to me, I don't want to leave. He really verbally used the word that I don't want to pronounce, because I think you know what I mean. It's the other side of leaving. And he mentioned it so many times. He was crying, the teacher was crying, and he says, I cannot take it anymore. And you had another child who says, okay, do it, get out of our life, do it, just do it, end your life.
Wow.
There's the issue.
So how old were those kids? Like one that
he is 13 now, and that happened at the age 10. So for 8 years he's been bullied. So wow. yeah. And the issue here, yes, and I know why he's been bullied. You might be interested to know me why he's always been bullied. Why him? Why not other kids? And actually, we found out that our son and a lot of those kids are in a way different in a matter, their way of thinking is different. It turns out that my son is like what they like to say, a gifted kid. So now the whole history of the first day he's been bullied at the nursery and all those stages made it sense to us, because the way he acts in school, it's not the same way. The way he thinks is different. So some kids are like having problem at home. Those kids, the bullies, actually they are also victims at home. There is an issue. Why, guys, are you bullying my son? But and you go back to the history, I'm not against the other kid. There is something going on, because why would you put your whole energy towards one kid and be okay with others? They have other issue. And my kid and other kids who are bullied, they act differently. They don't maybe speak out the way the other are speaking out, and this is why he's been victimized. Sorry. So what happened?
Actually, I just want to say is like, of course, you just shared that like your kid is gifted kid, and maybe he acted differently from other kids. But actually, there are like according to the study, there are 30% of people have been bullied at some point in their life, and from those people, like 20% of them actually ended up with the mental problems. So, I mean, there's, it could be like he talked differently, it could be acted differently, but there is no excuse of being bullied and all. It's just, unfortunately, it's just a situation that happens not just only in school, not only when we were kids, but it happens everywhere, really, even with the adults. And it's really just a very sad situation. Yeah. So you were sharing with us, like, so you were happy your son overcoming the trauma. So you did this sleeping therapy by saying things, affirmation, showing your love. And besides showing love, things that with love, and what other things that you tell him? I mean,
first of all, to be honest,
build confidence, for example. What other things?
Self-esteem, big time. My kid has huge anxiety issues. It has been developed because it has huge anxiety, actually, and not self-love and not self-worthiness. Like you said, I did it I went down deep into his subconscious mind. But nevertheless, what I did then, I sat down with him and I said, you are suffering and we need to find a solution here. So I call up on a friend of mine, and we have the same technique, him and me, but I am a mom for him. Even despite I'm a NLP, neuro-linguistic programming coach, I am also a mom, and I did something called also the timeline therapy. So we call this friend of mine, and we went back and we reboot, actually, if we wire his mind and his emotions, all those negative emotions. There are so many techniques out there that can help someone. So what we did the special sessions on rewiring his mind and his thoughts and his beliefs. And then I would say, of course, upon his agreement. And he was fine with that. And then we explained to him that who he is, because we never knew that he was gifted. So for him, we said, you're gifted. This is what it means. And this is why kids were bullying. It doesn't mean it's okay, but it gives you an explanation. And now you have to know that you are amazing, and you have to do those affirmations. But what we wanted to tell him is, you can trust again. You can trust people. We went and we have raised the concern to schools. So what was great there, we said, well, listen, there is a huge issue. You know, that was bullying, but bullying has happened because of this, this, this. And you guys, you have also to bring on the other parents, because this is something, something really important. Raise the issue to the other parent. Why is your son victimizing my son? Why this has happened? What's going on? And you guys in schools, for me, they have to be involved. And like you said, I understand, you told me, and I heard this also in a lot of workplace harassment happens. It's the fact. And this is not easy, but I can only tell you the experience as a mom, as a parent, as a neurolinguistic programming coach, that there are ways to not erase, but accept the situation. The moment you accept, you can move on. So
I think it's what you did is you accept the situation, and also you get involved. You know, you go to the schools, you bring awareness to the teachers and other parents, you know, with the kids involved. And I think that's really, really important, like really understand what is going on, you know, to have, like in America here, we have, like my son goes to high school, and they had this like they focus on like some weeks of the year, like just addressing bullying issues. So I think just have everybody involved and really discuss about the situations and find out what are the best solutions, and so can help with the situation. Lots of times, especially with the kids involved, like you said, exactly, like those kids who like bullying others, and they are victimized as well. Maybe, you know, they have very challenging situations at home, or maybe, you know, we just don't know what's going on in their life, but they definitely, something is not going right to you know, cause them acting that way, right? So not having enough love, you know, so it's very important, like what you explained, to really, if we have parents experience the same situations, like just not just sit there and wait, and not just think, oh, it's my kid, you know, but do you know, do get involved and find out the solutions, you know, to help.
Absolutely. What I've been conscious of, by the way, affirmations are amazing, and I really wish, and I would like to have this trend going on. I don't know how it works in the States, but working on affirmation on kids every single morning, in good affirmation, that's changed the whole thing. And there is one study done in Spain, and in one specific school, unfortunately, my apology, I don't have the name of the school, but they do the work on I am enough. Every single day, they do I am enough as an affirmation, and they noticed that the ratio of the bullying went down. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing thing. So for me, it will be so amazing if schools start do affirmations. That will be change everything. Say, I am enough, because yes, he felt he wasn't worthy, my kids. He felt he wasn't loved. He felt he was, you know, and at the end of the day, again, as an adult, we want to feel good. And if, you know, you never been in that kind of environment on coaching, on NLP, on health-wise, we all talk about self-worthiness. And when we understand that, everything shifts. So yes, I think affirmation is amazing. And by time they start believing it and notice them, you know, on a paper, and there is a mirror, even on your mirror. Oh my God, take this huge mirror and write on it, I am enough, whenever you go to the bathroom. And then embed it here. And now he's much better. He's at a better place, but he got sometimes angry, you know, he says, you know, why me? And I said, well, now, you know, but now why not showing the path that you get it up. He never talked about ending his life anymore, but this has been constant for 5 to 6 months.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. I think the power of affirmation and affirmation meditation, like morning meditations, and I think it's really powerful because we actually work on our subconscious mind, and that is the mind. That subconscious mind is where we need to, where we start changing our beliefs. So I am worthy. I am enough. So it gives you the power that acknowledge that your existence, acknowledge your enoughness, you know what I mean? So no matter how difficult situations are, that you come from confident, come from a place that you feel that you are good enough, you know. Absolutely. So that's absolutely great meditation. Yeah, I also hope that the schools can incorporate this kind of practice, especially helping kids coping with this kind of difficulties. I think it's super important.
It is very important. As a Jack Canfield trainer, there is something called 100% responsibility, taking your responsibility. So we explain as well how, by questions and doing the affirmation, how you are responsible of your action and inaction. So this is a very great tool, and we do this for schools as well. I haven't yet, I moved from another country, been able to implement it the way I wanted to, but there is so much to be given and to kids at school. You know, education is great. I'm not, you know, against any education. I've been educated myself too, you know. I think it's time to change or to add or to twist. And when you go to those kids who has, like you said, you know, challenges at home, you have some people are, you know, having a divorce or some atmosphere is not healthy, and when you go to school and you have those affirmations, that will bring a much healthier, happier person in the future.
Yeah, I think it's part of education, right? Education is not just things we learn from school or teachers. Education is really everyday learning. And for school, like emphasize on mental health, it's just so, especially nowadays, like with so many people experiencing depression and the mental challenges, and we live in this constant, crazy, fast paced society and environment. Mental health is really a huge issue, and incorporate this practice like affirmation, meditation, and it's not something luxury or something that, you know, additional whatever. I think it's something
it's at the fingertips of everyone. Absolutely, you can you know, just check online, do whatever you want on YouTube. You know, everything is showing out there. And you have books about it. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to go there. Absolutely. I had something that I wanted to share as well.
What other tips that you think that it can help the kids?
Yes, I teach my son to think differently in a positive way. Meaning, we tend to say what we don't want in life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed this, but
I love that. Yeah, we always say, like, if you ask somebody, like, what do you want? They always answer you what they don't want.
Yes,
they always they don't ask, they just answer you. They answer your question with another question of like what they don't want, because we all know what we don't want, but it's lots of us, we actually don't know what we want, you know, because it takes lots of things to really figure out what you want, what's your desire, and lots of people are not used to think about it in that way, and also they are not used to say it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I teach him that, and this is so I said, you know, be mindful of your words. And this shifted in a way, it's also towards working on a positive mindset, which means, for instance, you know, like you imagine parents, you know, they're in the swimming pool, over the swimming pool. What do we say when you have kids running? Usually parents will say, do not run, don't run. Don't run. And actually you're using a negative wording, do not. And by the way, I'm pretty sure you know, but maybe our audience they're not always aware of that the mind don't take negative wording. So basically when you say do not run, the mind take run.
Yeah.
Doesn't hear the don't in any languages. So when we say be positive or say what you want, is really to be mindful of your wording. So what do we want? We want the result. What is the result? Is walking, or pay attention, or be careful. Don't say to a kid, don't run, because he will run. You saw this minute, don't run, they keep running. So, please say what you want. So I told my son, what is amazing, be mindful of your words and say what you want. How do you want to feel? Express how do you want to feel. He says, I don't want to feel sad anymore. I said, no. How do you want to feel?
I want to feel happy.
I want to feel happy. How do because it's very easy when you're on a game, you say, Mom, I want that game. Okay, it's easy for you to say when you're on an object what I want. Now it's just
it's also a translation, like you say, I don't want to feel sad, from you say I don't want to feel sad to I want to feel happy. It's a transition. It's not, yes. Before it was just like things that it's like totally change your mindset, right? So
Absolutely. This is why the tip for parents is to be mindful, first of all, already for the parent to be mindful of the way they speak and think and think. But again, it's amazing. We come as a baby free of not knowing anything. We are soul in the body, right? And you have those smiling things. And like I said before, I was looking, my son, he was always smiling, and years after it fades away because he's been downloaded, as I said, new beliefs, but the beliefs do not serve him. Some beliefs do not serve me. Some others do not serve you. And sometimes we're not aware of that. So what I want to say to parents, be aware the way you talk, and then ask always how you feel. How do you feel?
And ask your kids how they feel, and it's like teach your kids new language, right? Before they just say things that what I don't want, what I dislike, what I hate, all those things. But now help them to learn new languages, like what do you want? What do I want? How do I want to feel? Like help them to understand that what they have is enough, and the enoughness, and they are worthy. It's like totally new language. I love that.
Absolutely. So this is what I did as well for my son. The way he talks, the way he expresses himself, the way he will talk to me, shifted in a positive way. By shifting in a positive way, even his mind is starting to download different things, right?
Yes, absolutely. So how is he doing now?
Oh, he's much better. He's much better. He still has some work to do on emotional work, but God, we were, we were very down, and now it's fine, and he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay.
That's so wonderful. You know what? It's life is a working process, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there will never be like, okay, that's absolutely the answer, and you can use it for the rest of life. Of course not. He will still have lots of challenges. All of us will. Absolutely. Everyday life is a challenge, and also, but you are teaching him this new language, teaching him this new way of thinking, and I think he's equipped with these tools and knowledge is going to help him big time.
Absolutely. And I invite anyone who's been bullied, or anyone who has emotional distress, or anyone who doesn't feel happy, or they don't know how to find a solution, reach out to those practitioners, reach out to the neurolinguistic programming, reach out for anyone who is out of the box process, because there are solutions. And like you said, I'm going to share other numbers that I really don't find nice, but they are a must. Do you know, out of kids who has been labeled as gifted, out of 100% of them, 50% of them will fail at school. Why? It's not because they're not clever, because they haven't been recognized their talents, and they are bored. They are so bored that they don't want to study. And when you don't want to study, you don't have the grades. And out of the 50% who are failing, 20% end their life. So for gifted or not, but it's really something important to bear in mind. And they are bullied much more than others. Other people are, but there's always something that triggered the bullying. Every time. But there are solutions. That's great. Like I said, we did the sleeping therapy. We work on the neurolinguistic programming. We work on a positive way of thinking. And he is in a much better place.
That's so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us your experience. I'm so sorry that this has been happening to your son, but at the same time, I'm so happy that he's doing so much better now. And you just, with a mom like you, super mom like you, he's lucky to have you.
I appreciate.
So if people want to continue talking to you, ask you questions regarding bullying trauma, or just a general like a sleeping coaching or things like that, how they can find you on social media?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, they can find me on either Instagram at 180 Within. You can DM me there, or you can go to my website and ask for a discovery. Schedule for a discovery session, and we can Zoom, and you can book and we can talk about it, or just send me an email. The email details are also on my website, which is www.180within, the number 180within.com, or at coach@180within.com.